G'day everybody, it's Seano here and welcome to today's live stream. It's our round 19 live trap. A live trap? Ooh, live chat. Let's try that. We can't even say our words already. It might be a tough time for Ralph Wiggum to come out. Okay, obviously, as usual, we're going to feature your team. Not many people have their teams in yet, so there's still time. So join that Discord and get your team in where it says post my team here, or you could even just pop it up in the chat, even though I won't be able to see your latest team, but we can still do it that way if you like. Don't forget to like the video. Do that now. Before we go on, go ahead and like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. If you're watching this in the future or now and you're not subscribed, please do that for me now. It helps me out a lot. So much support from all you guys and girls out there. Hopefully we'll get to see a few of you live today. And the last thing, what is the last thing? Oh, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your plans are for this week. Lots going on this week to chat about. So I guess we should probably get on with it. Hey, Lanzy, how you going? Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you. Dave Tortimber, it's a trap. Yep, so we will be doing, as you guys in chat have noticed, or I'm not too sure if this will go live, but if you want to leave me, if you're watching this in the future and you're going to leave me a comment down below, let me know which team you like. We've got a poll running at the moment for 4 possible teams, names for my team next season. I'm going to let you guys pick the name of my team. Now, we'll see how many responses we get today, but we might also do it over a couple more videos. And if you want to vote like several times, if you're watching like the 3 videos that I put out each week, the round video usually comes out either Sunday night or Monday. Captains and trades comes out Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we always do this live video on Thursday. So if you want to put in multiple votes, go back and watch the other video or go to the future videos and watch them and put in the comments what you like as well. I'll mention that during the intro and the comments for the next 2 videos, and we'll see how many we get. Dave, you like It's a Trap? Don't forget to vote. So you can just click on where it's got that like line there, and then you got 4 choices. So if you don't really watch the lives very often, you're wondering why I'm going to call my name. They're all related to something we do here in the live. So the first one is
me fail English? That's impossible.
Ralph Wiggum with his very famous and funny line. We'll hear it again.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
The Wiggum's Impossibles, that's where that comes from.
It's a trap.
Admiral Akbar's Traps, that's where that one comes from. What else? The plans.
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
Baldrick's Cunning Plans. If you're not a fan of Blackadder and you like comedy, it's probably maybe the funniest comedy series ever. Go back and watch it. It's hilarious, but that's where I get that from. And what was the last one is Zap Brannigan's Suicide Missions.
Every mission's a suicide mission.
Once more, Zap.
But when I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission.
So that's where we get those from, crew. So go ahead and vote for the one you like, and that will be the name of my team next year. Like I said, I think we'll do it over the 3 videos. And yeah, anybody who is, let's say, keen enough or, slightly delusional who watches all 3 of my videos in the week, if you leave it in the comments of the next 2 ones of my round review and my trades and captains, I'll count that as a vote as well. And then we'll probably let you guys know next week on the live, I think, who won, who's going to be my team name for next season. So speaking of my team, here's my team, crew, and as usual, we talk a little bit about my team first. There is still lots of time for you guys to get your teams into Discord if you would like me to go through your team. Yeah, we don't have many in there at the moment, so if we don't get a few more, it could be a fairly short video, but if we get a few more, then maybe there is. We still got a bit to talk about though, don't we, crew? About the Zach Butters situation and now the Bailey Dale situation that I wasn't aware of when the captains and trades videos came out. For me, straight swap, undo changes. So I'm going Butters for Will Ashcroft. Now you might say, hey, Seano, it looks like you're chasing the points. I am chasing the points a little bit, but moreover, I want a little bit of point of difference from the people in my leagues. Now, you guys and girls know that I am a league player at the moment because my ranking is so disgusting. If you want to see what a disgusting ranking looks like, that's what it looks like, 35,408. But I do love my leagues, and I do love the league that I play with all my friends. And this is, if we go to the league, I am currently in 8th position, I believe. But I've got the 2 bottom teams the next week. Yeah, I'm in 8th, but I've got the 2 bottom teams in the next 2 weeks. So unless this guy below me, who's also got a couple of bottom teams, can manage to beat my percentage, it looks like I'm guaranteed to make it in, scrape in probably in 8th. In best, I can maybe finish 6th, but I'll probably be finishing in 8th. But so I want a player that's going to do well in my league finals. And I want maybe a little bit of point of difference. Now, I'm missing a lot of these big dogs like I really wish I had. You know, these other options which you've got this week for Butters, which we can go through if you want. Like you got Jordan Dawson, you've got Bailey Smith if you don't have him. Obviously, Dacos and Bont if you don't have them. Who else have we got? The other big dogs, you got Isaac Heaney if you wanted him. I think those are the ones. Nas as well if you don't have him. As you can see, I'm missing quite a few of these players, which is one of the reasons I'm going Will Ashcroft. And he plays the Eagles this week, but as I said, I should win this week no matter what. But I also really like his finals draw. So his draw to go from now on is he plays the Eagles, then he plays Port next week, which is basically no Butters in that midfield. You'd think Horn Francis will be back, but still a very depleted midfield. Then he plays Carlton. Then he plays Hawthorn, which could be a tougher game. Then he plays Gold Coast, and then he plays Collingwood in the grand final. So there's no real tags there as far as I can see. Nothing jumps out, except for maybe the Ed Allen and Collingwood, but people have been tagging Lachie Neale all season anyway. So I'm going to put the bets on they're going to tag Lachie Neale if they're going to tag someone, even if Ashcroft is in blinding form. And I've got to make it to the grand final in the first place. So I'm thinking that he could be a nice little point of difference. I assume that a lot of my team, a lot of people in my league will, if they need to go Butters to somebody, they'll probably be going to the Jordan Dawsons or the Bailey Smiths of the world, who personally I think are a little bit safer picks. A little bit safer, but there's high risk, high reward into picking the Ashcroft. Now, if I had more trades, crew, I would be saying that I would potentially be thinking of going the split option, which is what the good old DR from the Soul Play crew is calling it. If I had more trades, I'd consider either one upping, one down to Ollie Franco or the guy in the back line, and trying to get either a Zach Butters out this week and then having a big stack of cash to chuck it on the top of head of somebody next week to go up, or even splitting the money if you've got a bit of money in the bank, or if you've got like a rookie like a Sam Cumming or something like that who's got a bit of money on his head, getting rid of Butters and that guy and splitting it into 2 amounts and getting 2 cheaper guys and maybe filling out your team. Because as you see, I've only got 22 primos. If that gets you 23 primos, either of those options, I think it's probably a decent plan. And there's advantages to both, right? The flex doesn't play. So, having a rookie in your flex, if he gets a low score, doesn't matter. But we've seen so many of these low scores in the midfield, like 76 for Day last week. We had Walsh got a 60 the week before this week. Finn Callahan was lucky to get this 86. We got Petrarch getting 55s. If you got there's plenty of those options, like a Rankinen and plus somebody else. Say you got a Rankinen and a Brad Hill, or Rankinen and a Lachie Neale, or something like that, and you get one of these dodgy 55 scores, well, you guys that you got the 23 primo, he's going to come in and play that extra. So there is some validation to doing it that way as opposed to getting the big dog that can score the big score. They both have their advantages. I think obviously my ideal world, I would have enough trades to go Butters out for another primo, maybe slightly cheaper, like we've done here with an Ashcroft or a Bailey Smith, down to an Ollie Franco for someone, whoever I could, whether it be an Ison or, move Hawker Hahn back to the back line for Edwards or Dirksen, and then put the more that money on the top of somebody else for a primo next week, a 23rd primo. But Seano's only got one trade left, so that is not an option for him. Hey, Kristen, how are you? Good to see you. Don't have Dawson. Yeah, I can't get Dawson either, Kristen. I really like the look of Dawson as well. I think, Ashcroft and Neil, that's a tricky one. If you were going to go I think a lot of people might be sided between Bailey Smith and Ashcroft and like Dawson and Ashcroft and Heaney and Ashcroft and those type of things where I've got a more define the way that I'm thinking about it. But did you come up on chat? Did I get you to? Oh, yep, you're there. So it kind of depends. Can you spend that money somewhere else, Kristen? I guess, like we're talking about, if that getting Lockie Neal gets you a 23rd primo this week or next week in the way of a Rankinen or something like that, or Brad Hill, someone's a bit cheaper, then I'd probably go Lockie Neal. And otherwise, Ashcroft is in the better form and seems to have the biggest ceiling at the moment. But I think he's also riskier. Like, Neal's been a lot more consistent, same as all those other midfielders that we mentioned. They've all been a lot more consistent. Ashcroft has had a pretty up and down season until basically about round 12, where he's gone 109, 86, 151, 138, 118, 174. And I do think if the tag comes in league finals, it's probably going to Lockie Neal. Has the rest of the season, so I'm not too sure why they would change that. But maybe they do. A lot of time people predict that they go to the informed player and they just don't. But, I mean, it's still probably a 50-50 call. I think if you can spend that money somewhere else, go Neal and go Ashcroft if you want the high risk, high reward. I'm going the high risk, high reward. I think if Ashcroft comes out, it smacks a 170 in my league, first week of my league finals. Maybe that gets me through when my team's not quite as good as some of my opponents. Maybe that gets me, through. And this week, if you're right on the precipice, or I don't know, that's a big word for Seano, but if you're right on the line of making your Supercoach finals, maybe if you win, you need to win this week and you need to win next week. Maybe Ashcroft is the way to go, or Lockie Neal, and slap the captain on him like I'm going to this week. Take the risk. If he goes bananas against the Eagles this week, then you could, get that important match to get you on the way to making the final. So, yep. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean if you were here or not, Kristen. I didn't know whether the chat was showing up because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. Yes. Seano acts all professional streamer, but he's not always. So I think that's what would come down for me, Kristen. Like you do what you think is best, but I think if you've got future trades and stuff where that money might come in handy, maybe go Neal. If you just want to, go for the fences, go for Ashcroft. Yep, that's why I'm swinging for the fences. So, that's why I'm going Ashcroft. As you can see, the rest of my midfield is pretty sad. Like, I've made a kind of a conscious decision, this crew. So, Rank could have the tags. They could go to Dawson, but they could go to Rank as well in the next few games. A bit reluctant to pick him. That's another reason that I didn't pick Dawson, and it's another reason why I'm not worried about Baz. I think Bailey Smith is still a really good pick, but I think he also potentially has some tags coming. Like his run of teams is good, but so like a lot of people looking at Bailey Smith. So St Kilda should be fine. Melbourne should be fine. Collingwood, he's almost definitely going to get an Ed Allen tag. Essendon's going to be fine. North, he'll cop the Finn O'Sullivan tag. So there's two matches there, the first week and the third week, some really important finals matches where I'm almost sure that the tags are going to go to him. And so that's why another reason why I really like Bailey Smith, but that just scares me enough to pick Will Ashcroft just because the only tag I see Will Ashcroft getting, if he gets it at all, is Collingwood in round 24. So yeah, I think it's a little bit more risky on what he's done in the past, but at the same time, I think it could help to make a little bit different from the other people. Rank is just so cheap, and he's got the capability of going big, which is why I like him. And at that cheapness, if I could have him as my 23rd player, I'd be pretty happy to have Rankin as my 23rd player. Where if he got tagged and he scored, didn't really count. It didn't matter. But if he gets another 120, 130 in the role he's got, well then that's going to be absolutely brilliant. So just at his price that I really like him. So yeah, that's the only reason why I like him. But yeah, I don't love their draw either. Like you said, if we look at the Adelaide's draw, they got Sydney. Well, James Jordan will go to someone. Will it be Dawson? Will it be Rank? It'll be one of those two. Collingwood, there's Ed Allen will go to one of them. Essendon should be good. Richmond should be good. Fremantle will be a tough match. And then GWS, I'm not too sure if they've got Bedford running with people or anyone running with people down there, GWS. But he could tag the next two. He could get tagged the next two. But after that, he could have a nice little run home. So it's not too bad, but obviously I'd prefer one of the big dogs. You've got Smith, Dacos, Heaney, Bont, and Richards. So you got most of the big dogs. Yeah, so you've got pretty much all the big dogs that I wish I would have. So, yeah, I think that's why I guess I can see why you're limiting yourself to like an Ashcroft or a Lockie Neal, because you've got most of the people that I would really like in my team. Oh, your last trade. Ooh. Hopefully we'll cross our fingers for no more injuries. Yeah, Bailey Dale was one that I didn't see coming. 5 weeks or something, minimum 5 weeks for Bailey Dale, or up to 5 weeks. That could be pretty rough because a lot of these players, I think I've got a litlittle bit lucky. In the beginning of the season, I was very unlucky. Now, since the season has started, I think these last few weeks, quite a lot of people have got injuries that I haven't got, basically because I just haven't got. I've wanted these players in my team. Like I wanted Dale in my team, but I couldn't get him. And now he's got injured. And, a few other things like that have happened. So I've got very unlucky at the beginning and very lucky at the end here. Is everyone got some coverage for Horn Francis, or is a few people going to be running 22 players out there? Don't forget to vote on the poll, everybody. I think there's only one vote in so far. Don't forget to 2 votes. There's 2 votes in for the Wiggums Unpossibles. So don't forget to vote on the votes, and don't forget to like the video if you're watching now. Might as well like if you're watching. There's only 6 of us, but you might as well like. I got a feeling it's going to be a quiet day today, crew. So we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. So I think there is a little bit to talk about though. So those would be my. Let's have a look at the players. Is there anybody else that I would even consider? Obviously, Nas. If you don't have Nas, Kristen, and you could afford him, I'd be seriously considering getting him, but I assume you've probably got him as well, or maybe he might be a little bit pricey, mid. So yeah, Bont, Holmes, it's still a very valid choice as well. If you didn't have Holmes and you wanted to get a bit of DPP action, I could get behind you getting him in for Butters. Smith you want, Dacos you want, Lucky Neal, like we said, he got a 150 last week. He could potentially get a 150 this week, and he's got a pretty good run. People are talking about I know GWS play Essendon this week, but I still don't think I'd be going them captains. People are saying like Finn Callahan, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole as a captain choice. Clayton Oliver, maybe, but he doesn't have the ceiling. Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield. Well, do you really think the ball is going to spend much time there in the back line of GWS this week versus Essendon? Probably not. So I wouldn't be picking any of those guys. So I've heard a few people recommend those guys. I don't think I'd be picking them. I don't care if they're playing Essendon or not. I know Essendon are giving up points, but I just don't think they're the players to go this week. If you were thinking about that yourself, not that my captain choices were very good last week. You have Nas, Jackson, have Holmes, yeah. So you've got almost all the big dogs. So hopefully, Christian, you've got a really Gorn and Grundy. You got a nice, run. So I think you're probably looking at a good, the good two. Probably the two that I would look at if I was in your position as well. Few people are saying they like Hawthorn's run. I don't know if I could trust Giant Newcomb. I already have Will Day, who hopefully comes good. I guess he's been pretty good since round, 12, 98, 136, 123, 107, 84, 105. It's not bad. And his run goes Richmond Essendon, so he's got a couple of good weeks. A possible tag against North, a hard game. So this is why I don't like Hawthorn's run for these midfielders. In your first week of Supercoach finals, there's North. Finn O'Sullivan goes to someone. Who they're going to be, Newcomb, Day, somebody else, I'm not sure, but he's going to somebody. Then they've got a hard match against Brisbane. Then they've got Collingwood. Ed Allen's probably going to go to someone. And then they've got West Coast Eagles in the last round. So if you didn't care about leagues or winning your league finals, I think it's a fine pick. But if you care about winning your league finals and they have both those tags happen to go to him in these crucial matches, I don't know if I would like that. So that's why I don't love the Hawthorn midfielders if you are playing for your league finals. In the next 2 weeks, though, they could go bananas. Let's face it, they could get if Will Day needs to go big for me this week, or I'll be very unhappy. I'll be a very unhappy Seano if he goes real big. Yeah, so you got Nas if you don't have Nas. So I think those are the choices. If you really crew, I wouldn't be if you're going straight mid to mid, I'd be going for one of those big dogs. For the forwards, though, I do like Rankin and I do like Brad Hill. I said I really was my preferred pick, not last week, the week before, I think, for Brad Hill, and he's came back and shown that for once Seano was right. And again, Rowan Marshall, well, TDK, I believe, is listed between 1 to 3 weeks away, so you'd hate to get him in and him to come back next week. And the same with if you're playing for your Supercoach finals, you don't want to be picking a guy who's going to potentially have his scores plummet right when you want him to. Kristen, you also have Gorn and Grundy. So I still think when Horne-Francis comes back from his suspension, I don't know why they didn't challenge it. I guess they don't really care. I don't know about you, crew, but I mentioned this in the trades video. If the only footage they have is the footage which was shown to us on the AFL website, how they saw anything from that, I will never know. But Horne-Francis, Warner's been a bit on fire, and Durham. These three guys here probably, if I wanted a forward, would be the forwards. And Rank. I mean, it would be the 4 forwards that I'd be looking at getting in. Jordan Ngoe was really, as soon as I was really high on him, goes and drops a crappy, he got a 106 actually. The week before he had a really bad score. So I think we've got some reasonable options in the forward line, but I think a lot of people are just going to be doing that straight one swap. This is the time I wish, if I had played more conservatively with my trades, I'd almost definitely be doing a 1 up, 1 down or a split, the split strategy this week and trying to get one more premium before the Supercoach finals came along. But with 2 trades, I just feel I might as well swing for the fences to go for the big dog. Go for the big dogs, they say. What about everybody else out there? What about captains and vice captains, crew? I have to admit, in my vice captain and when I was saying in my captain's video, I didn't really think about Luke Jackson, but I thought Sweet was being more restrictive this year. But I looked into it a little bit more, and he's not being that restrictive, and the fact that Port Adelaide have no midfield this week. They've got no Butters. They've got no, Jason or Francis. So I got a feeling Luke Jackson might be due for a bounce back. He's going to be dropping the ball, and those Freo midfielders are going to be just like grabbing it left, right, and centre, which means he should have quite a lot of hit outs to advantage. I'd expect their midfield to dominate this week against Port, and then he can go forward and kick some goals. So I was gonna tempted to go Gorn, but the Gorn versus Sherry, I still think Gorn will beat Sherry, but maybe Sherry negates Gorn around the ground a little bit. I thought Gorn maybe might be able to like get around a bit quicker. He moves around the ground a bit quicker than a big lumbering Sherry, but maybe he hasn't got the best history, even though the rules were different. So 112, 67, 114 in the last couple of years. So, even though the rules are a little bit different, maybe that's one that I was a bit keen on that I'm fading away from. And I don't have many choices. Like I said in my video, I pretty much have to have one of these early games, and Jackson just fits into that, that status. If I had Nas, I might have a go at Nas, but still worried about the tag. But as a vice captain, I think it was probably a reasonable option. Yeah, so I think the captains are a little bit tricky, and I'm going to take, because I pretty much can't lose my league match. I'm going to go Will Ashcroft as my potential captain against the Eagles. Even if he fails, I'm still going to win my match. If I wanted to be a little bit safer, I'd probably go Bont or Dacos, just because they seem to be a little bit more consistent. But I'm going to, like we said, we're swinging for the fences myself. So I'm doing that not just with my picks, but for my team as well. Kristen, or should you go the 3 rucks and pick up Jackson, but feel Ashcroft might be the better option? What are Jackson's? Let's have a look at Jackson's matchups to go for the rest of the season. All right, so he's got Port, which, like I said, I thought he was, they're predicting a slightly down score for him, 109, but then he's got West Coast that he should get a big score against. That should be a huge score. Western Bulldogs, you think English will be back, but you still think he could get a decent score there. Melbourne, that's a tough one against Gorn. Adelaide, McAndrew is reasonable, but he should probably still do all right. And then Carlton, if Pitnett is back, should do okay. So his draw is not too bad. I think for team flexibility, if you're down to no trades, Kristen, it probably would be better to go Ashcroft, just because I'm not too sure who you got in your flex, but you can always put a DPP guy like a Holmes. You said you've got Holmes. You said you've got Nash. You can always move them down to your flex to give you a bit more maneuverability if there are other injuries. And with no trades left, I think you said that's your last trade. That's probably going to be more ideal than locking up your flex position like I have. So for pure flexibility, I'd probably be picking, a midfielder or a defender or a dual position player. So that's just what I would, I already locked myself into Grundy like a month and a half ago. And ever since then, I don't think, it's kind of sad. Like I bought Grundy at almost 700k and he hasn't got me more than a 120 once. After this 200k, he's got me a 95, a 90, a 119, a 90, and a 105. For a 700k player, he's only got over 100 twice and he hasn't even hit 120. So pretty bad decision by me. And what I was going to mention, crew. So once again, like the video if you haven't already liked the video. But I haven't refreshed to see how many likes we got. We got 5 out of the 6 of you, so that's pretty good. And don't forget to vote. We have still only got 2 votes in the poll, crew, in chat, so please vote. Please vote if you're out there. And if you're watching this video in the future, leave me a message down in the comment on your favorite name out of the ones there for my team next season. Does anyone know, is there a limit on how long the name can be? Am I going to get stuck where I'm going to pick one of these names and it's not going to be, I'm not going to get it fitted in, it's going to be too long? Anyway, what was I going to say? Seano's got old man memory in one ear, out the other. Um, Something about next year, when it comes to these midfielders, yes, we want to pick a midfielder that is value, but we only want to pick the top guys when they reach the bottom of their value. Picking the Finn Callahans and the Walshes and the Rows has just not worked. So next year, I've written it down. Remember, yes, I want, I'm not going to pay 620K for Dawson, but when Dawson gets to 550, that's who you want and that's who you snap up. So I can go a little bit more value in the forward line and maybe, D6 and F or M8s, but in the midfield, but once I get my first starting 3 or 4 big guns, which will be one of those guys we mentioned out of Bont, Dacos, Baz, Jordan Dawson, Isaac Heaney, all the really big names, the names that, these names that are right up the top for the season. No, not Christian Petrarca. How's Christian Petrarca still averaging? How is that even possible? Oh, I've got forwards locked in. So even Sheasel, I could potentially pick Sheasel. So say you just went the top, Sheasel, Butters, Heaney, Bont, Dacos, and Malera. Oh, you can't. Say you went the top 4, even though you probably want Bont or whatever in the team. But, me right now, if I'm picking my team for next year now, if I can afford 4 big guns, like 600K players in midfield, it's Bont, Dacos. Obviously, I'd probably have Wangani Malera in defence if he's still playing there. Probably Dawson and Smith. Oh, Butters, Bont, Dacos, and Smith. Take those 4 in, and then I want to pick up Heaney when he gets down to this price. I want to pick up Dawson when he gets down to 550, same as Bont got down to 570 and having want to pick him up there. I'm not picking up value players that aren't in the top 6 players. I'm picking the top 6 players when they drop down to good value. So hopefully that made sense, but that's a big mistake I've made this year. And unlike your team, Kristen, I don't have Heaney or Baz. So Heaney should be one of these spots. Baz should be here. Jordan Dawson should be here, and then this spot could be one of these guys. I could take a risk on a Walsh or a Finn Callahan or a Day. So 1, 2, 3, 4 midfields shouldn't be in my team. And I went there for the value and it just didn't pay off. And now you just don't have enough trades to get rid of them at the end of the season. Better to muck around in your back line and your forward line. If you screw up in the forward line, oh well. We got Pickett. He's been up and down, and the entire season. So, but it's okay. A lot of people have him, and he wasn't. We didn't pay too much. I think we paid just over 500K for him, but it's not like we paid 600K for him. And say we've been able to pick up other guys like Durham. And, even Horn Francis, I think we got him for under 500K. So those guys, if you make a mistake with those guys, I think it's not such a big deal. But if you make a mistake with these guys who are not able to put out these consistently spike scores, like Rao, instead of Bailey Smith getting 150, I got Rao getting me 93. Instead of Walsh, averaging 99, instead of having Jordan Dawson getting like 110, 115 every week, one week Walsh is getting me 60 and the next week he's getting me 110. And Callahan's struggling to crack 100 every week, and other people have just got guys that are going 115 every week. So it's really something to pay attention to next year. Don't fill your team up like I have this year with, fake primos in the midfield. Get the big dogs when they go down in price. That's where you get your value. You don't get your value by going cheapo guys who are going to be inconsistent and don't have a history of scoring well. You get your value by buying the really good players who have a little bit of a bad run or go down on form, and then you pick them up. Hey, Freaky, how you going? Is he out? Is that true? I hope he isn't. Freaky, this is a great matchup for him, and he's going to be out. Richmond, that would be my luck, mate. That would be my luck. Where'd you see that? Will Days expected to miss a week with a caught calf or Nick's. Oh, my Lord. Well, I'm very glad that I've got an easy beat. I'm very glad I've got an easy beat. That makes me unhappy, but thank you, Freaky, for letting me know, even though it even makes me unhappy. Yeah, that's pretty rough. I didn't know that till just then, and you pointed it out. Yeah, Davo, that's exactly right. Snap. Yep, that's so you don't just buy, you don't speculate on whether guys are guns or not. You speculate with their prices. You pick the guys that, when their price goes down. And if, instead of just jumping on a Finn Callahan, you just wait. You just wait, even if you have to, cop a lower score for a couple of weeks while you wait for a Dawson or someone to come down or one of the primo guys to come down. You don't just jump on it because it's a waste of a trade. Like, we're looking at, like, I had Walsh from the beginning, so he's not really a wasted trade, but Callahan, Rao, now Day, I guess, as well, is a wasted trade. 3 wasted trades there. And even like I got in Clark, which was a wasted trade. There's another one there. So that's 4 wasted trades I've got right there, which I could have really saved. And if I had those 4 trades now, if those 4 trades had been guns and I had 4 trades where, I'd either have 4 guns in my team or I still have 4 trades. So yeah, big mistake. This year is sheer madness, Freaky. I've never seen a year like it. It's definitely the worst year for injuries. I don't need to think about it anymore. But in the weeks before, you're like, oh, I think it's the worst year for injuries that we've ever had. It is the worst year. Like, there's been nothing like this ever. Is it the game style? Is it just an unlucky year? This not only is it, injuries, but injuries to the best of the best players in the league. And maybe the league's going to have to look at this. Like, maybe the new faster running game is just not good. I'd like to see how many of those injuries are leg, like hammy related, overwork from overrunning type of injuries. I'd be very interested to know as well, because it has been one of those seasons. And I've never made this many injury trades ever before. I mean, most years we've only had 40 trades for a couple of years, and before that, I would easily finish with, most of the time this year, the time of the year, I've got 6 trades left. Last year and this year, whether it's being a content creator and kind of feeling like I kind of need to trade every week, but might not have been helping the situation. But at the same time, this is only the second year ever that I haven't don't have 6 trades this time of the year. Butters and Dale, yeah, that's going to be, and it's so unfortunate. Like, Dale was going so good. I would have, if I had trades and I had money, Dale probably would have been in my team. He probably would have been in my team a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. There's so many. You're making the right choices and you're getting punished for them. The Supercoach gods are very fickle and evil people. Like even the Will Day. I thought the Will Day was a pretty good decision. He got me 100 the first week I got him in. He got 100. He goes 122. I think I got him in after 108. I think I got him in here. So I got him in at 490. Yeah. So I got 108 and I got 110. I was like, pat myself on the back. I thought I was a genius. And then he's gone 69 and 76, and now he's out this week. So another definite fail pick. Just thank God. I'll show you my thank God I'm playing a guy who's given up. So this is who I play this week. So as you can see, like, I've got that many more players on the field than he does. And if you go down to, he's still got Sinclair. He's got Brune, who's going to be injured. He's still got Flanders. He's got Carroll that's not playing. Sarong, but he doesn't have the emergency on. He's got Butters. He's got Watkins. He's got Bamirs. He's got Lindsay. He's got Dev Robertson, hasn't played. He's got Murdoch. Doesn't have the emergency on Murdoch. ZZ, he's still got there. Laylaw, he's got there. English. No, Petrarca, he doesn't even have him on field. He's got half of these guys he doesn't have on field or have the emergency on. Broderick, or he's just checked out. He's throwing his, deleted the app, this guy. And so no matter what happens, I'm going to win, which is pretty lucky, really, because if it wasn't for playing this guy in this round, and I think the next lowest team in the next round, I think I play this guy and then not the second last, but the third last team next round. And should be enough percentage booster, I hope, to keep me in that top 8 and at least let me have a go at winning my league, even though I think it will be very tricky because there's some very good players in my league. And like I mentioned in one of the other videos, I spoke to my good friend Jace the other day, who's in second position on the ladder, and he told me he had 7 trades left. So I was like, not only is he way up the ladder and got, let's have a look at his team. Not only has he got a pretty good team, he's got 7 trades. So he's got Holmes, Parker, Ash, Dacos, Blakey, Stewart. So that's fairly reasonable. Dacos, Dawson, Butters, Bont, Anderson, LDU, Walsh, Fitzgerald, Gorn, Sherry, Cheezel, Durham, Pickett, Petrarca, Rochelle, Lombard. And in his flex, he's got Isaac Heaney. So basically, he's one off full primo with still 7 trades left. He's got, he's got a playing coverage here with Lake. Wish I had got Lake in now. How do we know Lake was going to keep playing? He's obviously got the trades to go up and down. So, and he's in second spot. So, his team, this is just it, right? His team doesn't look super, crazy good. But even just like keeping Lombard, when I sold Lombard when he'd only made about 90K, now he's made another 120K on top of that. Lombard, easy down. He, if I'm him, I'm going down to, a Ollie Franco this week from maybe an Ison or a McDonald, swing Hawker Harm back, making 150K there, going a Lombard up. It probably, if I was in his spot, I'd be doing the double, the split. I'd be going like Lombard up to like a rank or something like that, or a Brad Hill, and I'd be going a Butters, down to a Lockie Neal or whoever, and then you'd still have a couple of 100K in the bank to do something about Fitzgerald in a week or two before the finals. So what a good position he is going to be in, but he's overall ranked as 57,000, but he's probably going to win our league. So, I mean, well, he's up against this guy who we don't know, Pito Bread. I don't know how many trades he's got, but it just shows if you are very concentrated in your league, that's why I always say it's good to be in a league that you care about, because even when your yearly score is crap, you can still got something to look forward to, at this time of year. Unless you're like coming 10th or 11th in your league or something, then I guess that defeats that purpose. But if you got a chance like I have, I've still got some interest in the game. Dave, it's definitely a faster game this year, more spectacular to watch. Even your non-AFL friends love watching the game, but it's definitely taking more of a toll on the players. Do you really think it's more spectacular to watch? I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I don't love the stand rule. Let's put it that way. Too many 50-meter penalties come from it. There's been too many 50-meter penalties for ticky-tacky little shit, which have caused goals, which may have defined matches. I don't think we need the stand rule, and the game's pretty fast as it is. I'm happy to have if it goes out of bounds between the arcs, that it's if it's a disposal. I hate this. I have to admit, I hate it when it accidentally bounces off somebody's knee and then goes out and they're like, that's a free kick. That's not what the rule's for. The rule says disposal. So if I've got the ball and I handball it into your knee and then it goes over the boundary line, or into your leg or foot and it goes over the boundary line, that's not a disposal. You didn't kick the ball. I'm pretty sure if I handball the ball into your foot and then it rolls off the ground, Champion Data's not giving you a stat for that for a kick. So if they do that and they're giving a free kick for it, I don't like it. But if it's an actual, if they can clean that up for next year and make it an actual kick, out in the full, or somebody literally handballs it. You have to handball it and it goes out. None of this, it just touched his, foot business. Then I'm quite happy with that. But I just don't like the stand rule. I have to admit, I just don't think it's necessary. And yeah, if you want to zone back off it or whatever, it just allows, like we've seen, people just to run off. You basically, you're a defender, you're stuffed. Your team's always a player short now, so I don't love it. I about 3.2k have faded Cook. I also faded Cook, which was a big mistake. There's a couple of 100k there. Traded in Watkins instead. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Traded in Scary and Burton. I had Burton. He's the only one I had out of those three, thankfully. Feels sick, yeah, but yeah, did play wrong, no denying it. Your neighbour has 7 late trades left too. Yeah, so it just shows, like I just showed my friend's team there. It doesn't look like the most spectacular team in the world, but he's in a great position for finals, and he'll gain spots now. Now, yes, he's not going to gain from 50,000. The same as me, I gained 1,000 spots as well. I think these last couple of years have been harder ever to gain spots too, just because teams are very cookie cutter. The good teams are cookie cutter. Let's put it this way. My team is not cookie cutter in the midfielder stuff because it, sucks. But if you've got a good team and you've got, Dacos, like we're talking about Kristen's team earlier on, if she's got Dacos, Bont, Heaney, Baz, then you don't have many other options for who you're going to get. The best of the best are probably going to have very, very similar, especially midfields, and probably the top, 4 defenders are going to be very similar. Rucks are going to be very similar. The forward line might be a little bit different, but the scoring potential isn't as high as the other lines. So, yeah, I think now that we get more trades too, I think this year maybe we can expect in years to come it's going to be harder to catch people. So another reason I'm going Will Ashcroft. It's just I think there's going to be less pods in years coming. Maybe even all the injuries this year made teams a little bit more poddy than you might find they are in a year with less injuries. Kristen says she's playing a team in her league named Percentage Booster. Let's hope it's true. Yeah, won this league last year. And this year 12th, not sure if you can make it to the 8, though you're playing for bottom 2, even though you're playing for the bottom 2 of the 8. Yeah, wow, with your team you're struggling to make that. It must be a tough league, Kristen. Must be a tough league. But yeah, I won my league not last year, the year before, I think. And then last year made the finals but didn't do too well. I think I got barreled out in the first week, and even though my team was pretty good last year, but yeah, we got barreled out, and maybe the second week we went out, and then because I think I finished in the top 4, and I had a chance to get a week off, and I didn't get that chance. I missed it, and then I played the next week and went out like in straight sets. But good luck, Kristen. I hope you do manage to scrape in. Or if not, you get a chance to be what I like to call the king of the losers, which is if you win the bottom, because it breaks into 2 8s. If you're doing that type of league, it breaks it into, the top 8 and the bottom 8. And the bottom 8 play in their own little final series. So I always have a joke with my friends on who's going to be the king of the losers. Stoppage games are slower. It's more those GWS Swan games where they start at the back and end with a goal. That's what you like. Hey, Yellow, how you going? G'day, mate. G'day. Don't forget, crew, if you're just joining us now, don't forget to like and don't forget to vote in the poll. We've got 5 votes there. Vote in the poll on what you would like me to call my team next season. Yeah, the bottom 2. Supercoach Cup final, 60 boys injury, only a couple of coaches from the top teams. Is that what you were going to say, Davo? Yellow says, I've got 2 trades left for your season. Unfortunately, injuries have forced your hand to use both on Butters and Dale. Yeah. Now you have to decide to bring in. We had a nice bit of a chat about that, Yellow. So if you want to go back, either check out my trades and captains video or go back to the beginning of this, where we did have a big chat with only the 2 trades. You're probably, like me, probably better off not doing the split option, but just getting a primo. And I was thinking we pretty much broke it down to, if you can afford to get pretty much anyone, you get Nas, Dawson, Bont, Dacos, Baz, Will Ashcroft, and that's probably it. Unless I can think of one more. That's probably it. Maybe Holmes you throw in there as well. But you probably don't want to think about overcomplicate it too much anymore. And again, like we talked about, whether you want to go for your leagues or overall score. If you want to go for your leagues, maybe you pick someone who is got a no chance, like less chance of getting tagged. Like that's one of the reasons I like Will Ashcroft. I don't think there's any chance of him being tagged until possibly around 24, where I think a few other these guys like Baz and stuff potentially could get tags during Supercoach finals, which is important to me. But if you're just going for overall score, maybe it's just a Baz or someone if you don't have him. You just go to the top midfielders and look at the top 8 and choose basically one of those guys. Top 8, maybe not Clayton Oliver. I think doesn't have the. I'd probably go Heaney just because of the spike scores over Oliver, even though Heaney's been a little bit down lately. And same as I'd probably push, if you're going on form the last 5 rounds, so yeah, like Sheasel, you don't count in your forward line, but Nash, yes, Dacos, yes, Will Ashcroft, yes, Dawson, yes, can't do Butters, Neil, probably, yes, Max Holmes, yes, I don't think I'd be going Brayshaw, Bont, yes, and Bailey Smith, yes, and that's probably be, and Isaac Heaney, yes, and I probably wouldn't be choosing out of any others. I wouldn't try to complicate it too much more than that. I would think from the top, yeah. Again, it's just luck. Sometimes and it comes the same with leagues as well. I have to admit that in my league, I'm probably a little bit lucky. I'm a little bit lucky and a little bit unlucky. If we look at it, like the points against, I've got one of the highest. So my team, people have scored 36,554 points against me. We're in 6th position. He's only had, 34,937 points against him. So the teams so far have had really big scores. But since I've got a couple of easy beats in the next couple of weeks, I think I might drag that number down a bit. It just, and then the same here, this Tom here, he's got 34,000 scored against him. So out of one, except for Brad here, who is probably a bit unlucky. He's had a lot of scores scored against him when he's got the second highest in overall score. So just show anything can happen in a league match. You can get an injury. Something could happen like I've got today with the Will Day being out at the last moment. So what am I going to do? I was going to loop Hawkahan. I had an option there to loop, but I'm not looping anymore. And as Pod's only on the field here in case I need him to make him my captain, to get Jackson's score. But we'll do that for the moment because Jackson, that's what the team will look like until I find out about the captains or not. Corey, yeah, you're still first in your league, Seano, so unsure who to go for Butters. If you're concentrating on your league matches, buddy, it could be worth looking up your opponent's team and seeing which way you want to go. Do you want to match them or do you want to go different? So I want to go different. Like I almost assume that almost all my opponents in my league matches are going to have Baz, Heaney, or Dawson. But I think a few of them might not have Ashcroft, and that might get me the win. Or, you can go the other way. You can go, well, I don't want to fade Baz because he's killing it and he's got a good draw. I'll go Baz and, try and do it that way. You can look at it both ways. For me, I think because my team's not that great, the difference is probably good. If your team is already really good, say you don't have Naz and your opponents have Naz, but your team's already pretty, a really good team. You've got all those midfielders that we talked about. I'd be getting Naz in. I wouldn't be want to fade Naz, or the same as like a Baz or something. If your team's already, you got all those other midfielders we talked about, but you don't have Baz or you don't have Bont, I would be getting those guys. It's only with me, if you think you're kind of the underdog, then you want to do the pod. If you think you are the favorite, then you want to do the the negating trade to get the same player as they've got to stop them getting advantage of you. That's the way I look at it anyway. Good luck, Corey. I hope you win that league, buddy. Nazar Holmes and Washcroft, you think? Yeah, he's not Washcroft anymore. If you've got all those other guys that I just mentioned, I'd still be going, yeah, and for those reasons that we just mentioned. If you don't have Nas, I'd probably just get Nas. If you can afford Nas, I'd just get Nas. He's a very scary antipod for me. Him, Baz, and Dawson are probably the ones I'm really scared of. Heaney can put up the good scores, but he doesn't always do it, which is, I feel safer not having Heaney than some of the others. But Naz scares the living crap out of me every week when he plays. And, I just expect him to smack a 150 on me any day of the week. So not having Naz is a big problem. So out of those three, I'd be getting Nas unless you're in the position where, like we talked about, whether you need to make up ground or you think you're the underdog, well then maybe Will Ashcroft is a pick. But I could see Nas outscoring both of those guys for the rest of the season. Will Ashcroft, I hope he keeps up this form, but history says it's kind of hard to keep up 130 pluses every week, and got to come down to earth sometime, right? And since I've picked him this week, it's probably going to be this week. And I put my captain on him, so I've really jinxing him for everybody getting him. Yeah, I really like Brad Hill. Yellow. I talked about him a few weeks ago and earlier on in this stream. I called him I think a lot of people probably thought I was crazy when I said I said I was extremely interested in him. I thought he was one of the best trades in that 2 weeks ago. And he's been going gangbusters since then. As long as he holds that role, which it looks like he will, I think if you need a forward line pick, he's probably the best pick in the forward line. If you've already got Sheasel, it's him, Durham, and Horn Francis when he comes back are probably the guys that are going to be the main men in the forward line, the ones really able to get you huge scores. And Rankinen, if he doesn't get tagged, is the wild card capable of dropping you a low or a very, very high score. But if I had a choice out of Rank or Brad Hill, I'm picking Brad Hill, obviously. He costs quite a bit more. I think he's about $115,000 more. Frank's about $400,000 and Brad Hill's about $515,000. But the role, he's got the pig role, so I really, really like it. Again, if I had more trades, I'd 100% be looking to get Brad Hill into my team somehow. Somehow I would be looking to get him into my team. Yeah, Corey, you're going to have a look at the top three and look at Dawson, Ashcroft, and Heaney. I think that's smart. You need to change your thinking at some point from, obviously we're not winning the Supercoach 50K anymore. Some people switch off then. I know there are players, a lot of content creators out there, and they're like, I don't give a shit about my leagues. And they just switch off. It's overall ranking or nothing. Where me, I'd like to win the 50K. I'll try and win the 50K. And as soon as I realize I'm not winning the 50K, then it's time to switch to leagues. And if that means I have to sacrifice some spots and look a bit silly to you guys and girls out there on YouTube, so be it. But I'm going to do what it takes to win my league, because then I get to brag at barbecues for the next 6 months about how I won the league. And a few years ago, I don't know whether it's a few years ago, you ever you can go to a Champion Data website and you can buy like Super Bowl rings, but for like Supercoach. I bought a ring for everyone. I said, all right, whoever wins gets the ring, and then I won. So I was like, oh, obviously I had a bit of motivation. The other guys were supposed to chip in, but nobody did. So I kind of paid for my own prize. I paid for my own trophy, but yeah, but even then, like, that's why sometimes if you feel like you're a very good player, maybe a cash league, and it doesn't have to be an expensive cash league. It doesn't have to be $100 league each. Can keep things a little bit more interesting as well. Like I said, next year, crew, we've had a lot more new subscribers join this year. I always have, we did quite a few leagues at the beginning of this year, and we'll do the same next year, where like all these leagues here are guys where it's a Seano Supercoach, are ones with all you guys and girls out there from chat in there, which signed up before the season started. And I guess we can have a quick look and say, is it still Mass on top? Yeah, Shorty Mass, who is a Mass, you might see him in chat around everybody else's streams as well. Mass Debater. That's his team, and he's in 293 rank, a very good rank, and leading my Unlimited, where, as many teams got 137 teams in the beginning of the season, which was awesome. And these other ones are, they've got some people that are doing quite well. So Shorty's leading in that one as well. This guy, Larry Ryan Tiger, is leading in this one. This will get a bit more exciting when the finals come around. We got King Crab. Tim is leading in this one. I'll make this very quick. I know sometimes I zone out once people start talking about their leagues, and Hayden for Hayden's Heroes is leading in this one. So some pretty good teams there, all leading. We'll do that. I did ask this year if anyone wanted to do cash leagues. We didn't get enough interested people, but I will ask again next year. Even if it's like a $10 league or a $20 league, it keeps you, it might keep you a little bit interested. And always having the opportunity to kick my ass and then brag about it, and then come and show your team on stream on Thursdays and brag about how you kick my ass, might be a way to go. Oh, don't forget, crew, there's still time to get your team into Discord. Lanzy's put his team in. We're going to do Petros next, so in just a few moments. But still time to get your team in the Discord, or let me know here in chat and we can look it up on the screen. It does go better in Discord because I can show your current team after your trades. But if you're not a Discord person, then you can put the name of your team in the chat and we'll look it up. Yelly, you got over 1.3 million to spend on 2 premiums. Get the best 2 dudes you can get. Get the best 2 dudes you can get. Corey, 1 team has just Heaney and 2 have Heaney and Dawson, but the best guy who was fourth score with last week got Dirksen on field. Forgot I could get Fitzgerald on field. But beat the guy who's in 4th. Oh, nice. Yeah, good, nice work, Corey. 1 team has just Heaney, and 2 have Heaney and Dawson. So, again, if you want to beat those teams and you reckon you're a favourite or close to them, I'd probably be going Dawson. If you think you're, they're the favourites and you're not, and you want to go something different, maybe the Will Ashcroft. Great. You're in a league called Win the Bling or Win a Bling. Same one, the ring. Great idea. I thought it was a good idea. Yeah. I got 13 friends in that league of mine that are really keen into it, but they're not keen enough to do cash leagues or whatever because they know there's probably 5 of us or 6 of us that are in the running to win it most years. So the other 6 or 7 guys are like, nah, we're not putting any money in. I don't want to put any money in, or I don't want to pay for ring because I know that it's the top end of my league is very, very good. And then we've got some guys that they're okay, but they don't care about it as much as the rest of us. They're not out here watching YouTube videos like you guys, like probably the top 4 or 5 guys in my league. Not that I think they watch my videos. I think they just like my videos, and then when I beg them to on Facebook, and then go away. So anyway, let's have a look at Petro's team. He's in 19th. He was as high as 3rd. So he's been a bit unlucky over the last couple of weeks. And what I love when I look at Petro's team, I look at his team and it doesn't look that special. This is no offense to him. He's got look at his rank, like 19th. This is pray about having these type of seasons. We all would. He's been an amazing season, and last time I checked, he was about 600 points off first. So a couple of good captain choices. Maybe he could get back in there, but I just think his team, and now I see he's got Dale and he's got Noble, which is going to hurt him a lot. I think he's been struck down by injury a little bit, the poor guy, which is really hurting him. So as you can see, Whitfield back on, and he'd still be a primo here. But so yeah, he hasn't even got a completed back line, and he's got ranked 19. Dacos, Butters, Dawson, Heaney, Smith, Bont, Merritt, and LDU. So that's a pretty damn good midfield as we go. I mean, no, Merritt's been not that great the last couple of weeks, especially last week. This must be the week before that we've got it from. Ison, Herbert, Fitzgerald. So good. Gorn and Jackson, Sheasel, Bailey, Petrarca, Miller, McKenna, and McKercher and McKenna with Grundy here. So he doesn't even really at this point. I think this is the week before last week. Didn't even really have a completed team, and he's in 19th spot. So that gives us all a little bit of inspiration for next year. If you start the right players and make some good captain choices early on, I think you can be right up there. And I think that's the other thing we'll concentrate on next year. We really want to get our captains right at the beginning of the season. And honestly, I think next year, touch wood, we don't know what's going to happen with injuries. But if there's no early round buys, and I believe the rumors are there isn't going to be any early round buys, I really hope not. It'll be a much easier season, and we will be able to adjust for the ruck. Like, we know what's happening with the rucks now. So it won't be as much stuffing around in the rucks. We won't waste as many trades there. We'll have players that we're going to know that we can captain early on. So Petro, if you're out there, Petro, watching this in the future, good luck, mate, for the rest of the season. I hope you can, at least drag into a top 10 and maybe, win yourself a, 50K. But I got a feeling, did you say how many trades you've got left? 3 trades left. Yeah, and this was before last week, so he's in a bit of trouble, unfortunately. Landsy, I know you're still here in chat with us, buddy. Still here in chat. Speaking of people in chat, don't forget to like chat. Don't forget to like, and don't forget to vote. How are we going on votes now? We have 5 votes. So, everyone's going for the Wiggins Impossibles. Nobody likes any of the other names. I thought someone said they liked the Traps and they laughed. But everyone likes the Wiggins Impossibles so far. So here we go for Lancy's team. He ranks 15,676. Still a good rank, I see a lot of content creators, they're whinging and moaning about having 15,000K ranks. You're still top 10%. Top 10% out of 200,000 people is still really good. That's really, really good. If I'm going to university and I put in an essay and there's, 200,000 people in my class and I finish in the top 15,000, I'm going to be pretty happy. Got to get myself an A. Holmes, Ash, Whitfield, Clark, Blakey, and the Houston, the man that we all love to hate, Dirksen and Oliver. Again, I say it every week. Love the fact that Houston's out of my team. Another fake primo that I had. Dacos, Smith, Bont, Heaney, Callahan, Merritt, Sarong, Herbert with HK, Fitzgerald, and Burton on the bench. It's got a nice Jackson and Grundy with Gorn in the flex, the big 3-headed ruck, which hopefully is going to start paying off for us sometime. Hey, Landsy, I got the same as you, and please, can you guys just all get like a 140 in the same match, for God's sake, in one of these run homes? Sheasel, Bailey, Pickett, Petrarca, Rank, and Pod with Jay. So you got no coverage here this week unless you're trading this week, buddy. You're just going to go for 22. I think a lot of people will be in this situation. I'm just so lucky, nothing to do with skill, nothing to do with planning, that Dyson Sharp just stayed in my team, the whole season. He didn't play for half the season. I couldn't get rid of him. He hadn't made any money, and all of a sudden he becomes DPP and he's playing and he's getting 60 every week. That isn't called skill. That is just called blind luck, my friends. So I know there's a lot of people in this situation. And the other one is Lake. We went Banfield over Lake, a lot of us. And then after going Banfield, we were afraid to go Lake because we thought he might lose his job as well. And now Lake plays every week and we haven't seen anything from Banfield. So how are we to know? How are we to know, crew? But so a lot of us aren't going to have a lot of coverage. But if you have to roll with 22, hopefully you can. This is another year where next year too, it's worth having your, sometimes we're a bit unfortunate that we haven't really got an M8 which is worthy, except for maybe Sheasel, of being, you know, having him actually in the midfield where, and then we can swap if we get into trouble, or even just having a second rookie, like even if you had Bamfield and you had Lake up here instead of Burton, the flexibility of his team would be much better to, deal with things like the Horn Francis. Not that it would have helped him out very much here, or maybe he could have, brought back somebody here and stuff. But yeah, not too bad, Landsy. Not too bad. A bit hopefully there's no more outs this week, mate. Here you go. As like Ashcroft matchups. Yeah, that's why I'm getting Ashcroft Corey, because I don't think he has any tags. Even though the tags have been going to Lockie Neal anyway, even if they change their mind and decide to tag him, there's none to the Supercoach final, which is Collingwood, and I still think they might still go to Lockie Neal anyway. It's proven that you can shut down Lockie Neal, so why wouldn't you continue to go to him? This is why I think a lot of people get excited. Like at the last few weeks, people have been going like, "Why wouldn't you tag Sheasel? Why wouldn't you tag Sheasel?" Well, you don't tag Sheasel because coaches know that you can shut down LDU. So why wouldn't you go to the player that you could shut down? Why try and tag the guy who you can't shut down when you go? It's proven that you can shut down LDU. You go to LDU. He's at the coal phase. He's the guy that gets the ball. If you shut him down, it stops, the ball delivery to Sheasel. So Sheasel might be in better form. He might be getting 40 possessions, but it's still like that's the man they know they can shut down. And same as even like in a Gold Coast, they know they can shut down Noah Anderson, so that's why they would usually go, unless, Petrarca, I think when he was on fire, a few times they went to him, but they're not going to go to Rao. They're not going to go to Petrarca most of the time. They're going to go to Anderson, shut him down. And even with I think some teams where they play Western Bulldogs, they look at Bont and they look at Richards and they're just like, we'll just tag Richards because we know we can tag him and we know we can compete with him. Where Bont, it's not worth the hassle. Even though a few teams have done quite well tagging Bont this year. So I think people get a lot of excited about why aren't they tagging the guy in form, and I think it comes down to what the coach thinks, that who do they think they can negate better. And you heard other coaches talking about like Nas running around and getting 40 possessions, and they're like, I don't think he affects the game, so we didn't tag him, even though I don't agree with that at all. I think that's the coach just trying to, Nas obviously influences the game. Sorry guys, I need a drink. Been crapping on too much. Yeah, I think the Nas one is just wrong by the coaches. Not that I'm a coach, but if you've got a guy who takes the kick in from the back line, I saw it last week in the game. He took the kick in from the back line, ran out, got the handball. The player who was on him didn't stay on him. He was just like stayed off a bit, accelerated away from him and kicked it into, kicked a nice kick. It was either, I'm not sure if it went to a forward's chest or at least to an open player near the 50-meter line. Just like, I mean, if that's not damaging, I don't know what is. So why you wouldn't put someone with him, I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's why I think that some people get like the same. If you're picking the Lockie Neal over the Ashcroft, you're like, I'm worried Ashcroft's going to get tagged. I'm not as worried. Just because he's in good form, it doesn't make me think that they're going to change the normal plan to tag Neal like they have every other week. Same as somebody earlier on the season tried to tell me that Geelong were going to tag Luggage. And I said, I don't think they will tag Luggage because Neal's been a lot more damaging and Luggage has just came back into the team and, on minutes, whatever. And they didn't. They tagged Neal. Not that Luggage had a decent game anyway. But yeah. So I think people get excited about tagging the guy in form when I think a lot of time they just tag the guy they know they can shut down. Landsy said, Smith in for Butters, 5 trades left. So 5 trades, very nice. Was hoping to get your last upgrade, but you're thinking we'll just save trades for league finals now? Yep. You got 5 trades left. If you didn't have any money, I know maybe Burton's using it as a loophole. I was going to say I'd really like to get Ollie Franco into my team. If I was you, buddy, if I assume you only used one trade this week, Dacos to Butters to Smith, I'd seriously consider, if you've still got 5 trades, getting rid of Dirksen, moving Hall Kahan back, and getting Ollie Franco in your midfield. Even though that sort of hurts your flexibility here a little bit, you've got, I mean, do you really want Dirksen or Oliver on the field, where HK, who should be coming back this week, is valid defense back there? And Ollie Franco looks really good. I think he's going to be a very good in the midfield. So you would have 2, you'd have 3 really good guys here to choose from. Plus, you would be making 150K for that. Then you've got 4 trades for your Supercoach finals. I think if I was you, I'd be, because you don't know if any good rookies are going to come along from now on, right? I don't think you're going to see a better rookie than Ollie Franco come from now on. And even if you went, the Hawthorn guy who Mraz, I don't like his job security as much, but he's looked pretty good. He's got some decent scores. So if you wanted to keep your DPP action between Holmes and Kahan and go Mraz and make the money there, I think this is the week. If I had trades and if by some miracle I had a boost, I'd be almost boosting to, make sure I get Franco into the team, bank that money for my last couple of trades. If I had 5, that's if I got 5 or plus trades left. That's just me. You're obviously doing much better than me, so you do what you feel is good. He slipped to 165 now. Are you talking about Petro? Poor bugger, if he has. Are you talking about Petro? Yeah, a couple of bad weeks, poor guy. Gone from 3rd to 165 with a bad round that round. Sorry to hear that, mate, but still a great season. I mean, still a great season. When you're in 3rd, you got to go for it, right? So still a great season. Maybe just a little bit unfortunate, a little bit unlucky, like some of us. Corey, you can get anyone but a Shaw on VC and C yet for Butters, but will be any one of the big 3 mids will have 1 trade after this. Same as me, down to 1 scary trade, mate. Holmes, Ash, Malera, Wilmot, Clark, and Blakey. Yep, very nice. Hopefully Blakey can, start kicking it again. Nass, Dacos, Smith, Bont, Neil, Callahan, Goulden. A nice little pod there in Goulden. Herbert, Butters, you said you're getting... you're not too sure who you're getting for Butters. We talked about that. So, yeah, I think for you in this case, it's either, like you talked about, Dawson or Ashcroft. You've got all the others, I think, that you would want. You've already got Lockie Neal. This is another way to think about it, but I don't always think about it this way. Sometimes I prefer like one. This just might be something. I like the colours that I want. I don't want 2 guys from the same club a lot of the time, just in case that team gets a belting. So I might go Dawson just for that reason. That's not a scientific reason. That's just because then you've got no doubles. You've got, on any one day, even though the club, gets a belting, you're not going to have 2 from that same club. But in the same mind, if you think Brisbane are going to kill it for the rest of the season, maybe Ashcroft is, a pick. But I'm pretty sure Adelaide are going to do pretty well for the rest of the season as well. So that's the other thing too. I wouldn't be picking a midfielder. I wouldn't be picking a midfielder I wouldn't be picking a Zach Merritt even if he was doing okay this time of year, just because of how Essendon getting thumped. The chances of him getting a nice big spike score are probably less. Especially now, obviously with his role and everything. But Jackson, McAndrew, Sheasel, Tagoe, Reed, Sparrow, Richards. Richards only got a 49 last week. That's unfortunate. I was pretty keen on him when when we talked about him. Thomas and Hawker Hahn down here. So, yep, I think at least they're going to be playing. Richards is going to have to be the main man this week, so hopefully he can score you a little bit more than that, buddy. Yeah, not too bad at all. Thomas has been quite good as well, really, lately. 51 obviously is not what you want, but he's actually been pretty good before this, if I remember correctly. Wigan's Impossibles has been the meme all season. It has, Corey, and I like that one. I'm still going to open it up into chat for the next 2 videos so we can get a nice, but I think it's probably going to be the one. I like it, the Wigan's Impossibles. Wigan's Impossibles. I can't even say it. Should we bring it up? If I can't say it, we have to show it.
Me fail English? Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. Gotta love you. Love you, Ralph. Love your work. Declan, how are you, Declan? Nice to see you, mate. I'm doing very well. You've traded in Ashcroft as well. I thought Ashcroft might have been a little bit of a pod pick for me, but it seems like a lot of people are going there. I wonder if it's going to be a pod pick with the guys in my league. Are we all just chasing the points? Are we all just chasing the points? And Bailey Smith today. Ooh, you got the two best options, I think, honestly. I think him and the only worry I have with Bailey Smith is a couple of potential tags, but I think they're potentially, those two, and I'd throw Dawson in there as well. The 3 of those guys are probably the guys that most people don't have. Like, you assume most people have, like, Dacos and Bont, and we'll take Nass out of the equation. If you don't have Nass, I'll throw Nass in there. But, yeah, Nass, Smith, Ashcroft, and Dawson, they're the ones I think that, you really got to like. You had to trade out Dale and Butters, want to get ranked. Do you think he'll still be worth picking up next week? Let's have a look. I think he's got a very low break even. It might be worth picking him up this week, sacrificing a few points and getting one of those big dogs next week. 14, yeah. So if you have the option, if he gets a 72, he's going to go at 25k. Let's say he just goes 100. Gets us flat 100, he's going to go up 35k. So depending on where your trade situation is, if you want money to be doing another trade, another upgrade in the future, then I think that maybe it's better to get him this week, because the big dogs aren't going to go up or down that much, I would assume. So Ashcroft is going to go up. So you probably 67. So you probably definitely want to get Ashcroft this week. And what about Smith? 127. So I know it's rough, but depends on the money. Depends on your money situation. If you can afford to pay that extra 35, 40k next week, wait till next week. Get the 2 big dogs in this week. They've got potentially to go bigger. The other thing is too, if shit hits the fan next week and you went rank this week and you couldn't get Smith or something, you'd be a bit disappointed. So if you can afford 35 extra K next week, get the 2 big dogs this week. If it's going to make it so you can't get him next week, then maybe it might be a situation where you have to get him this week and, sacrifice a few points for next week and have it in the back of your mind that possibly if something happens, that you might miss out. So I still think Rankinen is a top 6 forward, and he's got a high ceiling, and that's what you want, right? You really want, especially this time of year, you want the guys with the high ceilings. If he plays that role, he's had some very low games this year, but I think if he plays that role, I think he can, he's going to have a fairly reasonable floor. If he gets tagged, he's not going to be great. Let's face it. He's probably going to get you a 70 or an 80 or something like that. But if he doesn't get tagged, he can potentially get you a 150. And if you look at the midfield, I look at the forward line, you don't see that, there's not two. You want that's who you want. That's what I'm trying to say. You want the players that can give you the spike score, and not the ones that can do it fairly regularly. Like not like I've got Riley Thrillthorpe, the old Thrillthorpe here. He could give me a spike score, but he's going to do it twice in a year. Where I reckon Rank could do it every second or third week. Could smack out a 120 if he plays that full mid-time role, which Adelaide look like they want him to play. So yeah, I think he could be. Jared, 8 beans lately. I have 8 beans lately. I love beans. I make my own version of baked beans for my healthy lifestyle, which tastes yummy. Yeah, Petra, you're talking about. Yep. So Declan, yeah, I think I think in your case, I might just get the 2 big dogs, and then you can just look at what money you've got next week. Obviously, what's your team name, buddy? Are you looking fairly completed as a completed team, or have you got a disastrous, forward line? Because then the forwards next, there's not at that price, you're not going to get a better forward. Let's just put it that way. Even at 430, you might not get a better forward. I like Brad Hill better, but he costs more. When Horn Francis come back, I like him better, but he costs more. Durham, I think, might not have the ceiling, but it has the consistency. I think he could have the ceiling too. If he didn't play for Essendon, the ceiling would be higher. It looks like Durham's going to be like 3-round average 114, 12-round average 112. So even if he goes at 100 for the next few rounds, you'd be pretty happy with that. And Chad Warner the same, 3-round average 109, 5-round average 100. Again, probably going to get you around those scores. I like Zach Bailey as well. Again, 3 and 5-round averages of 100. So the 5-round average is usually the one I like the best. So Brad Hill, Horn Francis, Durham, Warner, Max Hall. I'd probably take Rank over Max Hall. I do like Max Hall, but I'd probably take the Rank over him. I think he's just got the higher ceiling. It's got the same floor, but a higher ceiling. So Murphy Reed I like, but he's got a, he doesn't have that massively high ceiling. Does have a reasonably low floor as well. I would love it if Marshall, if any reason TDK leaves or Marshall goes somewhere where he's a solo ruck, I'll be picking him up. If Marshall can keep ruck forward and go somewhere, or something happens to TDK and he's the solo ruck, he'll be one of my first picked in my team next year. He is just a monster as a only ruck. Just poor TDK is stuffing it up for him. Pickett's been down a lot lately. I still think at 450. Would I go Pickett or Rank? Ooh. That would be a tough one. I think I'd flip a coin. Hey, Aussie, how you going? At work at the moment, so watch the replay. Thanks, mate. Don't forget to like everyone out there if you're watching the replay. Just because you're watching the replay doesn't mean you like. And if you are watching the replay, you can still vote in the poll up here by just letting me know in comments which name you would like, and that will do too. We have had a few more votes. We've got 7 votes. We do look like one person liked Admiral Akbar's traps and Baldrick's cunning plan, and no one likes Zap Branningham, which makes common sense. In my former streaming personality, where we streamed on another platform that shall not be mentioned, we did a lot of Bender stuff. I really like Futurama, and things like Bite My Shiny Metal Ass were very well featured. That's a quote from Futurama. If you're not familiar with Futurama, very funny show by the same guys who did The Simpsons. But yeah, very, 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 very funny. Very funny. Bolton managed this week. How are you finding out? Is this in the honey? Honeyball, Team Whiskers, Team Whiskers. Oh, all right, where is he? He's getting a lot of play today.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Team Whiskers. Let's time Team Whispers and try that again. We all know about Will Day. That was a onion in my ointment. Nick will play. The Hawks look like a completely different team with Nick Watson in their team. George Hewitt, they're hopeful. That's 3. Hopeful George Hewitt will recover. There's a debut. Balin O'Brien for Port. They're that desperate. They're getting in debuts. Can't see anything about Bolton. Oh, for the number 1 ranked team, Butters, Dale, Jason Francis, and Bolton. I don't see anything about Bolton. 2 team selection calls. Mason Cox will hold his spot. That's good for my vice captain option. And Shea Bolton will be managed. Okay. He's been one which he's been very good this season, but I don't regret not getting on the Shea Bolton train. Pickett as Rankin is too injury prone. Yeah, maybe. But I think at this time of the year, Yellow, you might just have to send it. If I had no trades and I'm like, I just want to win, I want to get the best score, I'd be tempted to go rank. But I think they've both got the same role. Yeah, it would be tricky. You're right. Rank does have is slightly injury prone, but yeah, it's one of those ones, right? It's one of those. Anything can happen. Anything can happen on the day, and I think that's a tricky. There's somewhere I'd go, yep, easy. I'd pick this one or the other one. I'm not too sure who I would go those two. I think they both have the same potential for spike scores, and they have both same potential for low floors as well. Yep. Bond managed to hand. It's actually, they say managed, but it's due to a hand injury. So it's an injury, but it's managed. Okay. So how close is it up in the top ranking? Have we got through everybody's team yet? Causa, did we finish talking about your team? So there's 60 points-ish. So not too much. In the top 10, between 1 and 10, there is 790, 330 points. So 330 points, a couple of decent captain scores. I think you're still in it, but anywhere from probably from this guy, from even the top 5 have a really good chance of winning it, I think. They're all within 100 points of each other. So it's a pretty tight season. It's not like there's somebody way out and ahead. Top 5 within 100 points. That's a pretty tight season. Yella, I hope that Darcy has been told he's not going to be called Cox is better, because Cox is better and they look better with him in the team. Cox can actually kick a goal. He clunked a ripper mark. Was it last week? He clunked that ripper mark. He hasn't even been. I don't think Cox has been in great form. Cox can get better with a bit more practice and a bit more play. So, and of course, it's good for us, as in the Jackson. I mean, Cox can play forward. Jackson can't do anything else but, come on and spend, 30% of time in the centre bounces or in rucks and do nothing else. So I like it. I'm making Luke Jackson my vice captain this week. Like we discussed earlier, I originally thought I was a little bit worried that Sweet might be a little bit negating ruck. He's been Supercoach scores, he's been quite good, but when I looked against his opponents have still been scoring well against him. And the fact that they're going to have no midfield, I just figure that there's a lot more chance from hit out to advantages. And even when Jackson ruck roves his own ball, who's going to stop him? If there's no Butters and there's no, Jason or Francis, who's stopping Jackson getting the ball when it hits the ground? Even if Cox is rocking and Jackson goes in there as that extra midfielder, who's going to try? Are you going to get Watkins try and tackle Jackson? I'd like to see that. And then for my captain choice, I'm going to go Will Ashcroft as a bit of a pot against what I think a lot of people will go, just to try and, because I'm going to win my league match anyway. I'm just going to have a go. Does this mean I can... No, I can't loophole. can I do a loophole now with Ison? Ison plays here. You know, I mean, we could. I guess we can do this just in case there's a disaster and Hawker Hahn gets injured or something, and Ison scores a 80 or a 90 by some miracle, because now I can bring Will Day on. And I guess that also changes my captain options. I had limited captain options before, which is one of the reasons I picked Jackson. But I do like Dacos as well. And I do like as a straight vice captain Dacos. Dacos into Bont, I think is the safest this week, crew. So if you want the safe bet, you've got a tight league matchup, not like me where I got an easy beat. I'd probably be doing Dacos into Bont, or if you want to move up spaces in the overall, I'd probably be doing Dacos into Bont. If you're like me and you're like, hey, I'm going to win anyway, let's just go for the massive score against West Coast, hopefully by Will Ashcroft, then maybe that's the way to go. 6 weeks ago, anything can happen. Yeah, I mean, I do watch the Code Sports guys and girls freaky. I think they're kind of fun. And, yep, Chloe is absolutely killing it this year. So good luck to her with the run to the end of the season. She's smashing all the boys over there, which is kind of fun to see. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel so bad when I see those guys like the Phantom and even some of the like Supercoach swordplay guys and whatever. Not that I want them to do bad. I actually want them to do very well, but I'm doing bad and they're doing bad this season as well, which makes me kind of feel like maybe my season is actually not too bad in compared to some, other people that usually do very well are also not doing that great, and I usually do pretty good and I'm not doing that great. So, makes me think that it's not just me. I'm not the only one. Misery enjoys company, isn't that what they say? That miserable old bastard Seano. Yeah. So what do we reckon, crew? Does anybody else want me to show their team on the screen who we've got here in chat? Does anyone else would like to like while we're out there? And does anybody else want to chat about anything? So, we're getting to there. How long have we been on now? It's coming up on 2 hours. So if you want me to pop the team up on the screen, let me know now. We can have a chat about it. If you want to get your vote in, do that now. Davo, we can do that. And otherwise, if we don't get too many more, we'll probably call it soon. Have I already got you? Nope. Davo's. Ooh. There's no N. Come on, Seano. Oh, there we go. This would be you, Davo. Might still not be enough. Yeah, I think we can't predict for that, Freaky, though. I think if you, like I said, next year, and most years until the last 2 years, I don't know what's been wrong with me the last 2 years, I like to come out of the buys with 1 trade per game. I know I heard another content creator say he likes half a trade per game. I don't like that. Like, unless you're going for the top, 10, or even Davo here is trying to make the top 100 maybe with an overall rank of 286, which is really good, Davo. So well done, mate. Great season for you. Yeah, so if you're doing that and you want to go down low on trades and risk it, fine. But if you have any desire to win your finals, you probably want 8 trades coming out of the buys, 1 for each match. And then when you get down to the last 4 weeks, you probably want 4 trades. And any more than that is a bonus. If you can have 5, that's really good. And you probably definitely need a boost for within the buys. At least 1. I had none this year, I think, and I had none last year. I need to save a boost for the buys. And even if you've still got that, like Chloe, like we said, still got boost afterwards. This is if I had trades and a boost, I'd be boosting this week 100%. I'd be getting in Franco, I'd be getting Butters out, and I'd be potentially upgrading, my 23rd player. I'd 100% be doing a boost if I had boosts and, more than about 6 trades left at this time of year. So, Davo, let's have a look at your awesome team, buddy. Nass, Holmes, Ash, Wilkie, Malera, and Blakey. Love that back line, mate. Nice couple of pods there in the way of Malera and Blakey. Not too many people have them in the way. Some people do, but not too many. Lots of coverage, which is beautiful. Dacos, Dawson, Butters. Who are you getting rid of for Butters, Davo? What are you doing with Butters? Dacos, Dawson, Bont, Heaney, LDU, Finn Callahan, and Durham. Yep, okay. Again, you got sucked into you got sucked into the Finn Callahan pick, but at least he's down the pecking order a bit. Herbert, Ison, and Fitzgerald. You got Gorn, Jackson, Sheasel, Petrarca, Williams, Tracy, Miller, Thrillthorpe. No coverage. Hopefully, Tracy starts to play a little bit better for you, buddy. And it's just going to be Gorn down here. Get away, taskbar. Jason Hall Francis there. Okay, cool. So Jason Hall Francis, you kind of got a extra. So you got more than a full primo team, which is very nice. Yeah. So you've got 24 premiums, which is kind of good. So yeah, you've got that extra premium. So you're in a really good spot, Davo. You can, I don't know how many trades you got left either, but yeah, very, very nice. I don't need you to put it in Discord, Lloyd, but it's better if you do because it just shows, like, unlike what we just see here, this is last week's team. That's not this week's team. You can put in this week's team after your trades and tell me, you can tell me how many trades you got and all that stuff. You used your last trade, Butters, to Ashcroft. It's just not too bad for you, buddy, because like I said, you've got an extra primo. You've got you've got Jason Hall Francis there, so you've got a full team. You've got your coverage for, in the forward line, which is fine. You could bring down like a Fitzgerald or a Herbert into the flex or somebody else at the flex, if you needed to. You got very good coverage, though, which is good. I mean, injuries are still going to hurt, but you've got really good coverage. So no more, touch wood, no more dramas, and you've got a really good team to shoot for the rest of the season. Few people are underperforming. I'm looking at your forward line in the way of Tracy, Miller, and Petrarca, all underperforming, but hopefully they can get back into it. Nice work, Dave. Good score, mate. Good year rank. Whatever happens from now on, it's been a very good year for you, buddy. Don't be too disappointed if you drop down a few spots, and be very happy if you go up a few. You always say you're going to do better next year, and it doesn't happen. Yella, I'm devoted to, next year, not making mistakes. I've got my plan. I've shown the plan to you guys a few times. If you really want to see the plan again, we can do it again. But we will do probably a review near the end of the season, where people probably won't give a crap by that time. But at the same time, we will also do one probably at the beginning of next season, where I'm going to stick to the plan. Now, if I go by the plan and it still doesn't work, well, then fine. I will, I'll cop it. This year, though, I think I really deviated from my plan, and it didn't pay off, and it punished me. Even though I'll say it, and I'll keep on saying it, this is the hardest Supercoach season that we've ever had. Just because of the difference in the rules, so many rule changes. I wish they'd stop changing a million bloody rules at the end of the season. So many new rules, so many uncertainties. The early buys, it just made just made it so hard. Everything back to normal, hopefully next year, and we can actually plan for what we know. Hopefully the rule committee won't make 22 million more rules. Which I kind of think they will, because otherwise I'm pretty sure they think they need to change half the rules in the game. Otherwise they'll get rid of them and they won't get paid anymore. Like, why have a committee to change the rules if they went, we think the game's really good, we won't change any rules? They're never going to say that, are they? So that's why we get a million rule changes every year. And somebody else said, Who am I missing? Stavo's Tall Timber, Lloyd Style. Hopefully we won't do what we did the other week where we put someone up on the screen and we talked about their team for 5 minutes and it wasn't their team. That was last week. Why everyone in chat was yelling at me. Why can't I spell it, Lloyd? Two lowercase L's. Got to spell it right. Have a look, Lloyd Style, or with there's that number 1. Having trouble finding it, my friend. LLOYDS T capital S T space. Doesn't like it. Seano's having issues again. Maybe that's why I can't find it. There you are. That'll be it. Maybe it won't let you look it up if you've already got it. That's a good thing. Good, well done, Lloyd. Nicely done. All right, where are you? Overall rank 94. Oh, another really good season, buddy. Well done, mate. So good. Make me jealous, and I'm going to wipe the drool off the table here. Nass, Holmes, Ash, Wilkie, Clark, Dirksen. Wasn't Wilkie brilliant last week? Having Whitfield come back in, very nice. You got Anand and Dirksen as cover, very nice. Dacos, who are you doing for Butters? Smith, Bont, LDU, Finn Callahan, Merritt, and Rao. A few fake primos there in your midfield, unfortunately. Herbert, Ison, Franco, very good, very good. Jackson, White, and Gorn. Jackson, Gorn, Sheasel, Horn, Francis, Marshall, Pickett, Petrarca, Smith. You got Lake, got a bit of coverage there with Lake. And this is another reason why it's better on Discord, and you got Grundy down there. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. It always impresses me when I see you've got such a brilliant rank, but you've got some of these fake primos like I have, like Callahan and Rowell in your team, and Jordan Clark, and you still manage to have a score like this, which just makes me feel like I've played so bad this year that our teams don't look too much different, but you are in the top 100 and I am in the unspeakable realm. Very nice, mate. Hope you can crack maybe the top 50, maybe even better, for the rest of the season. So Lloyd, I hope that's going to do very well for you. More than 10 trades after the buys. The more trades are going to be, the better. I mean, it just shows you. Looking at some teams, like I showed you, like the Petro, who was in top 3 once, and he didn't even have came out of the buys, didn't even have a completed team, and yet he was in the top 3. So, you don't need to trade like a maniac. You just have to, I think, have the right players for one, and do very well with your captain and vice. Be very vigilant with your captain and vice captain picks as well. Dave, put my team up there while we talk about it. Kind of relieved you have no trades left now. Now it's just hope and luck for the rest of the season. In 3 leagues, in the top 2 and 3 of them, but you'll probably end up learning a few lessons still. Yeah, with no trades, it's very hard to win your league, mate. Trades win leagues. Let's just say, call it how it is. Having trades wins leagues, because it doesn't matter how good your team is. If you've got a Will Day situation in the first week of your leagues and your opponent has, if you've got 23 primos, your opponent has 23 primos, you lose Will Day, he doesn't have Will Day, the odds are he's going to win. And if you lose more than one, if you lose like a Horn Francis and a Will Day and he doesn't have either of those, it's extremely hard for you to win. You need like a massive captain score or whatever. You need to get to lucky. You need to get lucky. Whereas you got trades, you just make that trade and you're like woohoo. And especially if if you're the opposite situation, they've got 2 out and they've got no trades and you've got 2 out, you just make that trade and you win that match and you move on. So to win your league finals, trades win leagues. That's all it is. And I believe from watching the Swordplay guys where they did interviews with the guys who won the 50K, the grand prize, they all had at least one trade coming into the grand final. So even to win, if you're in the running to finish right up the top for the money, having an extra trade there helps as well. So it just shows that decent play and the picking of the right players is really good as well. Don't forget to like, crew. We got 12 people now. Don't forget to like and don't forget to vote in the poll. Yep, a few people more like Admiral Akbar's traps, but Wiggum's Impossibles is still leading. Don't forget to leave down below in the comments if you're watching this in the future which name you like. Hacky Sack Weirdos. I think I saw. Did we already have you as well? Nope. Did I just spell that completely wrong? Do you actually have the inverted commas? Probably not. Hacky Sack Weirdos. There we go. Tried to trick me by not putting the space in. Overall rank 3,100. Another nice, very nice rank. Well done, buddy. Very, very nice. Nass, Holmes, Dale. Ooh, a bit rough having Dale. Ash, Roberts, Clark. Hopefully Roberts can start performing again for you, mate. Dacos, Dawson, Butters. What are you doing for Butters? Bont, LDU, Callahan, Rao, Herbert, HK Fitzgerald, and you still got McRae is a bit of a swap action. Gorn and Jackson, Sheasel, Durham, Pickett, Petrarca, Williams, Tracy with no coverage, and in your flex is Zach Merritt. Yep, very nice team, buddy. Looks good. No real dramas. I hope you've got might be a roll of the dice. Is that about having no trades? It is a roll of the dice. Yeah, I would assume that you're probably not going to win any of your leagues. I don't want to get you. If you do Lloyd, you'll probably be very lucky. I don't want to bring you down, but no trades means no league win most of the time. Just saying how it is, but I got one trade and I don't expect to win. Even if I make it in my leagues, I don't expect to win them, have a chance. If for me to win my leagues, it's going to need an absolute miracle, and we haven't had too many miracles this year, so I don't think that's going to happen. Dave, it's only your second year in Supercoach. Oh, you're just new. You're a newbie. You're a whippersnapper. You're a Supercoach whippersnapper. So you've been left out in the cold with leagues, but you've been having fun and trying to get as many players on the achievement badges. Yeah, I mean, you're still into it, and you're still going for your overall rank. You're only in the second year, mate. Next year, make sure you come and check me out earlier on in the season, and we'll have some leagues, and you can get in there one of the leagues with myself and some of our other friends here in chat, and might give you something to, you can chuck your team up like we just did, and talk about how you're bragging about how you're beating everyone. Trying to get as many different badges, yeah. Yeah. What do you reckon, crew? I think we should probably call it a day. We've been here a couple of hours. That's usually, the max. If people are watching this in the future, they're probably struggling by now, listening to Seano crap on. So thank you for everybody who joined us this morning. If you haven't already liked, please do that now. I know it's really hard to do it with work and everything when I'm on at lunchtime. Unfortunately, this is a work-related thing, and unfortunately, next week it will be another same time as this around morning or lunchtime, depending on where you are in Australia, or maybe somewhere else in the world. Maybe it's midnight or somewhere if you're watching from the UK or something. But I assume most of us are in this amazing country watching this amazing sport that we call AFL. So a big thank you for everyone was here. Don't forget to like the video before you run away. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Leave me a comment down below, including who you're picking out of the vote, out of the names. If the vote is not there in chat for you, the names are option 1, Wiggum's Impossibles, Admiral Akmar's Traps, Baldrick's Cunning Plans, or Cunning Plan, I think we'll have it, and Zap Brannigan's Suicide Mission. So if you think one of those is kind of funny and I should name my team that, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to, like I said, we will, at the moment, Wiggum's Impossibles is leading by a mile with 8 votes. And I think that means they've got 7 of the votes. No, they must have 6 of the votes, I think, out of the 8. We will go in chat in the next 2 videos in my round review and in my trades and captains. We'll ask people to say what they would like in comments too, and we'll show on the screen why I'm picking those names, and we will go with whichever one looks like it's going to be the favourite, but Wiggum's Impossibles looks like it's winning by a mile so far. So as we usually do, we want to say thank you to everybody who was here in chat with us before we go. So thank you, Freaky Flute. I assume you enjoy band camps a lot. Davo, Tall Timber, Kristen, Lloyd Style, good to see you, mate. Yella, good to see you. Corey, the ladies' man, it's always good to see you as well. Kristen, good to see you. Didn't get to see Karen, but Karen, if you're watching this in the future, nice to see you. I'm sure you are working. And anybody else who comments on all my other videos, I really appreciate that. Liking is awesome. Commenting is even better. And subbing is fantastic. Let's just we put in the order, I guess sub is the best and like is the best. They're evenly the best. Followed by commenting. Really enjoy the comments, and I'll always get back to everybody who comments. Who else have we got here in chat? Aussie M, I think it is. Oh, we already went all the way down to the bottom. It keeps on jumping all the way to the bottom, so I can't see. We said Corey. We said Kristen. Declan Lorna, thanks for chatting. Aussie M 8130. And I think that is it. But sorry if I missed your name. I appreciate you all, and keep an eye out for the Monday video. Good luck to everybody this weekend. And yeah, hope you all get massive scores. And yeah, I'll talk to you all again next week. So I will speak to you soon. See you then.